All right. Well, hi, hello, and welcome to Deploy on Equinix, Build Your Global Solution. Today's exciting webinar is sponsored by Equinix and produced by Actual Tech Media. My name is Jess Steinbach. I'm with Actual Tech Media, and I'm so happy that I get to be here with all of you today on your lunch break, or maybe kicking off your day or wrapping it up wherever you're joining us from in the world. I'm very happy to have this time with all of you here because today we are going to outline how you can level up your digital infrastructure. We're going to get some best practices, some hot tips, how to build those new solutions, deploy, demo, and support your all important customers. And the great news is that we are not alone in this conversation. We have two incredible experts here with us to help explain how all this magic is possible. Now, we have a great chat ahead of us. I cannot wait to bring our expert presenters out here with us today. So I'm going to start out with just a few housekeeping points to help you get the most out of our conversation, and then we'll get things rolling. All right. So again, my name's Jess. I'm here with you throughout the day today. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me via that questions window. Now, that questions window is also the best place to get involved, to get interactive, to let us know what you're thinking about today, what's on your brain. What's been keeping you up at night? What do you need to talk about today? Because we've got our incredible experts here with us, and we're going to go through a little presentation, and then we're going to stop and we're going to talk to all of you. So make sure that you're getting those questions in. We want to hear from you throughout the day today. You can give a little test run right now if you haven't done so already. Give us a hi, a hello. Tell us how your day's going. I see Morteza. I see Chris. Hey, Linda. Hey, Steven. We've got Greg. We've got Jim. We've got Paul. We've got JP and Shang and Jorge. Whole awesome crew with us. Keep those highs and hellos coming. We want to be hearing from you as we go through our day today. Now, as I said, I am also reachable via that questions window. So if you have any technical issues, you can shoot me a message. Now, a browser refresh is going to clear out most of the usual tech gremlins, I promise you. But let's say that the browser refresh is not working and the gremlins really have a hold of you today. No problem. You are going to post a message in that questions window, and I am going to be there to help you out. So keep those questions coming in. Let me know if you need a hand. Browser refresh clears out the tech gremlins. That is your key summary points, your key takeaways. All right. Well, I also want to point out the handouts tab before we move on too far. The handouts tab just chock full of great information, resources, and takeaways. And there's a really cool survey. We're going to talk to you a little bit more about that later. You are going to want to fill that out. So I will come back to that, but please do make sure that you are checking out that handouts tab there. Now, if all that cool content wasn't enough to get you pumped up for our day here together, my friends, we also have a $250 Amazon gift card as a prize drawing at the end of our webinar. Now, you do need to be here in live attendance in order to qualify to win that prize, and all winners must meet the Actual Tech Media prize terms and conditions. If you're not sure what those terms and conditions are, no problem. I get it. I don't have them memorized either. You can head over to the handouts tab, click in, scroll down, and you will find the full T's and C's waiting for you there. I see some more highs and hellos coming in from you. Alan, Rick, John, thanks for joining us. So happy you guys could be here with us today. And hey, for all you eager beavers who are already participating and joining in the conversation, I love that. Here's an extra little incentive to get involved. We also have a $50 best question gift card. So this is a $50 Amazon gift card going to the best question asked. Now, we review all of the questions asked after we wrap. So even if we do not get to your question during our live Q&A today with our wonderful presenters, that's okay. You are still entered to win. So keep those questions coming in. All right, well, I'm breezing through things very quickly because I want to get into our session. We've got two wonderful presenters, a dynamic duo, if you will. Today, we will be chatting with Dan Kayao, Technical Partner Manager at Equinix, and Masood Nouri, Partner Marketing Manager, Solutions Providers at Equinix. Dan and Masood, thank you so much for being here with us today. I know you have a ton of great info ahead, lots in store, and we do want to leave time for Q&A. We got a lot to do today, so I'm going to step back and I'm going to hand things on over to you, Masood. Take it away.
All right. Thank you, Jess. And thank you, everyone, for joining. As we get into it, let's jump into the agenda. Next slide. And so I'll be talking in the very beginning about what is Equinix, our advantages, how we started, what's our secret sauce and our global reach and our networking, and what are the tools you have available to you as a developer or a business decision maker, and what you want to do in deploying. And then what are some use cases of that? And how have we helped some other companies win with Equinix? Next slide, please. And so we want you to bring your workloads that don't fit in the public cloud. I know that sounds like an outlandish statement, but the reality is it takes a long time to bridge to the cloud, and not all workloads are a good fit. And so I could give you some examples of high performance and low latency, like Zoom, for example, that really requires a really low latency connection between the data centers to service all of our calls, especially like this virtual one. And then you have something like proximity and location that matters to someone like Restream, who services millions of customers around the world and shows their live streams to everyone around them. And so they need to be close to data centers where their customers are or where their followers are. And so we have all these factors and all these tools that are available to us, and different ways of getting a solution out to customers. And Equinix is very amiable and very malleable in how we service them. Next slide, please. And I'll just really quickly touch on the history of Equinix. It started as a place of a vendor-neutral location for telco companies to work together and share information between each other. And once we had the telco companies, finance companies started to see this and say, hey, I want to be close to the telco companies. And then when the finance company came, it's manufacturing, retail, government, healthcare, education. And pretty much it ended up that all the companies around the world and the biggest names that all work with Equinix to share data and share information in different places all around the world. And so it's not just that everyone, brought their data here, it's that they trust Equinix. And that's actually represented in the name, that Equinix is equality, neutrality of the internet exchange. And so we want to encourage others to bring their data and securely make sure that that's serviced to their users. So next slide. All right, I did some boring stuff, but now this is for you. We have solution providers trying to find new parts of the business and parts of the business that are growing. And so our solution providers are looking for ways to improve things like AI and 5G networks. And so our internal marketing agency did some research, and these are the key trends here. And so we have things like specialized compute and quantum computers in Tokyo, for example. We're focused on innovation and growing into those unique niches that our customers are looking to do. And so we can help you in so many different ways. Next slide, please. And I talked about all the data centers and where they're located, and it's everywhere. We're all over the world. And this is just a little visual map for you to see that, we are the most expansive, secure, and sustainable data center platform out there. Next slide. And so we want to have you listed on this page. We're nothing without our ecosystem and the people that we work with. They build better solutions with us. They service their customers in a unique way, and we want to help enable them. And so we want you to be also on this list. Our advantages of being connected to the clouds, having data right next to the biggest cloud vendors means that you can connect to them and connect to the colo locations and bring together a unique solution that services everyone in your ecosystem. Next slide, please. So I've worked with over 150 solution providers, and they all have their things that was tough for them and when they worked with other cloud providers. And I'll give you an example of a really big cloud company that we all know wanted to use hardware, but they couldn't get it from their own company. They had hardware available because they had to have commitments, they had to have business justification, they had to show that this is going to be a short time so that they could turn that hardware over. So it was really difficult for themselves to get hardware from their own company. And so as soon as they started working with Equinix and Equinix Metal platform, they loved it. And then they themselves became a customer because they couldn't get hardware as easily. So it goes to show that we're not just solving a problem for a couple people. This is a problem for a lot of people of bringing that workload and easily getting hardware accessible everywhere. And so next slide. And that's part of us being humans. You don't have to deal with robots and automation. You have people here that will help you along the way. All those issues and pain points are being addressed here. We want to focus on building with you and supporting you along the way. We know that every solution is different, and we want to be that neutral location that you can bring your solution and deploy what you want, where you want, however. And we'll help promote that and message that message with you. Okay, next slide. And so this is something I hear all the time, uh, that it's just straightforward and easy. We want to work with you and support you along the way. We're humans that will help you and get you moving through the process. And so I wanted to jump into what that process looks like. Next slide. Now we're talking about how to do it and the steps to doing that. And so it's really these 3 steps outlined of building on an accessible global infrastructure network with low latency. And then we deploy and collaborate with you on marketing and joint efforts. And then we support you for events and physical things like conferences and do more so we can make more noise about the solution we have together. And so as we jump in, I want Dan to help explain some of the technical details behind that. So Dan, over to you.
Thanks, Masood. So in the build stage, we'll work with the engineering team to develop your solution deployment, then check in your code for review at a source code repository of your choice. We have a slew of resources and documentation published on our deploy website, deploy.equinix.com, and an array of developer tools available at our DevRel Labs portal at deploy.equinix.com/labs. And then the second step is to produce documentation and publish it to showcase your solution deployed on Equinix. One very good example was the building of the SUSE K3s Terraform module, as you see on the screen. We have connected with the SUSE engineering team. We showed them how to use Terraform and the technical resources that we have available online, and they were able to build a highly scalable deployment of K3s on Equinix Metal using Terraform, Metal LB, and Unicast IP. Over to you, Masood.
Thanks, Dan. And the next stage of that is deploying. And so after you've had your document published and you've deployed your solution, we want to publish your document and make it public so that everyone can see it. Once it's public, we want to demo your software internally to our stakeholders. We'll get you on a call with our director of SCs, our sales directors, and so forth, so that they see your solution live and they can get you feedback directly. And it'll help you there. And so after that's done, we get you to deploy a web page. And that web page has an average of 130,000 views per month. And so you'll have a lot of eyes and attention. And so I can tell you that over 50 people have done this already. We've been working on these type partnerships and helping them build the integrations. And it could take somewhere in between, if you act quick, it could be a month. But on average, I've been seeing about 3 to 4 months. And so along the way, we're checking in and making sure that everything's going smoothly. Next slide, please. And after you've done all these steps, you're now in the support phase. You have an all access pass. We'll continue to push that story, and we'll get you on live streams and virtual events and physical events where we can hang out at each other's booths. And we want to support this story to, at our whatever conference. And if you want to invite us to any webinars, we can do that. So we want to make more noise, and the solution is owned by you, the software provider. And we'll work hand in hand together to ensure that we're developing these customer opportunities together. We'll give you credits for new deals. We'll find some executive alignment, and we can continue to do things that bring more interest to the solution. Next slide, please. Thank you. And so I'll talk about some of the success stories and how this has brought some wins to us. And so I want to talk a quick quote from Alex. Alex, when we started working with him, he had 0 customers, and he was just creating this product that was really unique and creating a VPC anywhere type of solution. And so within 4 months of working with him, he got his first customer, which we helped scale and build onto Equinix's platform. And I don't want to take away Dan's buzz, but they built out to 3+ million revenue joined together. And so I want to throw it over to Dan to talk about the technical details of that and what they built out.
Thanks. So NetTrust was one of the key success stories that has made a big impact on our joint customers. It completely abstracts and automates networks with VPC networking software, enabling a cloud-like experience. This eliminates the need for complex and error-prone network operations. Together with Equinix Metal and Fabric, you can create your own high-performance, low-latency private cloud. Netris has yielded 3 million in revenue in opportunities, and we continue to expand our customers' experience with Equinix. Next slide, please. And what you see on the screen is a diagram that summarizes its capabilities. The Netris controller provides an array of networking features such as elastic load balancers, virtual networking, gateways, VPNs, and many other cloud-native network resources to simplify application deployment. As shown on the graph in front of you, starting on the left, you can connect your existing infrastructure hosted elsewhere with Equinix Fabric or Interconnect, then set up one or more Netris controllers behind it. Each controller represents a network VPC, which you can use to deploy infrastructure like VMs and containers on Equinix. Next slide, please. Another success story was SUSE. With SUSE, we worked on Harvester and K3S integrations on Equinix. Harvester is a modern hyperconverged infrastructure built for bare metal servers using Kubernetes, KubeVirt, and Longhorn. And K3S is a lightweight open source version of Kubernetes. With Harvester and K3S, you can quickly spin up Kubernetes clusters on VMs on any metal metro, then connect them together with Equinix's high-speed, globally distributed networks. With SUSE, we have enabled our customers to deploy Harvester and K3S to simplify application deployment on containers at a large scale. They have been widely adopted by our customers, and this highlights the joint reliability of our integrated solutions. Over to you, Masood.
Thanks, Dan. That really wraps up our presentation today, but the message that I wanted to tell you all is apply, apply, apply. It is very easy to get going. We'll get you started. And we want to give you a little thing of swag from Equinix. So please take the survey and get some swag. And if you heard something that's interesting and that you're looking to achieve, or something that's curious and you're just wondering how it applies to you, apply and just reach out. Always happy to help. And so, Jess, do you think we could put the link up on the screen and pause for questions?
Yes, I think that's a great idea. I have got that link up now. So for anyone out there that is wanting to take that survey, click on that red text there, that bright, shiny red text that says, take our survey. And it's going to take you right over to the survey. And then, hey, if you're the first 30 respondents, you're going to get that super cool tumbler, which is just win-win. So click on the survey right now while you're all doing that. Masood, Dan, you ready to get into some audience questions here? Can you hear me, guys?
Yes, we can.
Hey, team. Okay, awesome. All right, so we are going to jump into some audience questions. We are ready to rock. I'm going to start with this one here. Can you talk a little bit about maybe some options for customizable traffic flow analytic reports?
It's probably talking about network traffic, if I'm not mistaken here. We do have what is the observability to be able to demonstrate the traffic flow. We also we provide reports once you sign up for your account and you want to visualize the amount of data that's being transferred in and out of the network within your account. You can actually produce a report that's going to show you the ingress and egress traffic of your account. Yes, so we do have that available within your account once you sign up for Metal.
Perfect. Okay, how about this one here? Can you talk to us a little bit about the type of software that's going to do best on Equinix Metal? And Masood, maybe I'm going to kick that one over to you.
Yep, thank you for that one. So there's more trends that are the Equinix metal, and that's when you're leveraging our advantages as well as your own on a platform that's everywhere. So that's having something that's cloud native or Kubernetes, that's a resilient type of software that can play. And if something goes down, a new container would be able to spin, just continue that workload else. And so that's just software uh, at the end of the day that's really advanced. Another advantage would be leveraging a multi-cloud network. So if you're accessing AWS and Google and you're taking advantage of these multiple cloud providers, there's an advantage of working with Equinix to connect to these providers really quickly and avoid egress costs and things like that. And then there's being able to leverage multi locations around the world. And so being closer to your customers at edge locations is another value add. And so if you're able to combine those three, that's successful. And if it's all API based and consuming our technology via code or infrastructure, that's another great fit. So those four attributes are what I see are big, strong suits. So hopefully that answers it.
That does. And I think those are great attributes, very strong suits. Okay, I'm going to jump to this one here. And Dan, I think I'm going to send this one over to you. What options are available to scale your infrastructure up or down on demand?
That's a good question. So we at Equinix, we provide infrastructure, but we also support deployment of containerized platforms, with Kubernetes being one of them. And there are various types of Kubernetes flavors that you can deploy, provided by our solution providers. And we have that code available into our developer portal that we mentioned during the webinar, which you can find at deploy.equinix.com/labs. That's where you could find the Terraform provider and the source codes to deploy Kubernetes. And we have SUSE K3s, which is a lightweight flavor that we support. We also have a vanilla Kubernetes code that you can utilize from the labs page. And the second type of deployment that you can do, if you want to deploy on VMs to scale up and down, you can utilize hypervisors. We support ESXi as one of the operating system options that you can choose from once you have your account and you want to deploy your machine. There is an array of options for you to choose from. ESXi is one of the options. Windows Server is another option that you can deploy. Hyper-V Server, which is also another kind of hypervisor, and that will enable you to host VMs on your environment. So if you want to go beyond VMs and containers, you want to use both of them. We have HCI, which is hyper-converged infrastructure solutions, with SUSE Harvester, which we also have an integration with. And Harvester basically uses open source software to host VMs on bare metal servers, and you can deploy K3s on top of Harvester to host containers. We also have another HCI offering called Nutanix. We've just released the Nutanix integration about a month ago, and you can use Nutanix OS as well to deploy your HCI infrastructure within the array of options that you have within your account. And once you have your account, you want to deploy your OS within the machine that you want to provision, then you're going to see that as an option as well. So there's many options for you to choose from. If you want to go above and beyond VMs and containers, if you want to go to functions or maybe MLOps, there are several solution providers that provide software for you to use functions, kind of like a workflow functions or service kind of a software if you want to go beyond that, beyond containers, so that you can build your own serverless environment. You don't want to utilize one of our solution providers software to do that. And if you want to bring your own MLOps kind of a software to utilize functions, containers, and VMs, you can add that on top of it. We have many tools, SDKs, and developer resources for you to build your solution on top of what we already have and what we already host on Equinix Metal.
Well, Dan, you knocked that one out of the park, and we got a lot of thank yous and high fives coming from the audience as you were going there. So I think you very much answered some big questions for the folks out there with us. I'm going to maybe, Masood, if you want to chime in on this one as well, but Dan, I might just keep the mic with you for one more question here. Can you dig in a little bit further? Is Equinix Metal a shared platform?
So no, it's not. So basically, once you sign up your account, you have a dedicated space. You're gonna be given an org, and within that org, you create your projects, and within your projects, you create your infrastructure, and that's a dedicated workspace for you, where you have dedicated machines, which are bare metal servers. They're not shared at all. They're actually plugged out of an array of available machines depending on the metro of your choice. We have several metros across the world, and you can choose from the type of machines that you want to deploy into your project. And once you make that selection, it's dedicated to you. You can do anything you want. You can deploy software. You can bring your own OS. You can do whatever you need with it, but it's not going to be shared with anyone else. So it's a kind of like a single tenant platform where we have high performing compute capacity, and you can actually choose what the kind of machines that you want. There's and the plan that you'd like to have. We have two kinds of plans. We have on-demand machines, and we have the optimized machines that adds GPUs. I had extra power to these servers. If you want to go and deploy a heavy workload software onto your machines, you want to go to through the optimized routes, which you can purchase on a contract within. You can just choose it from within your account.
Perfect. Okay, Masood, I'm going to kick a question over to you now. How do we stay in contact with your team?
All right. Well, we're super flexible. We could do many ways. If we're working on an integration, it's really easy just to set up a Slack channel where we can just have our engineers and CTOs speak together on an open forum so everyone's on the same page. And that's during a POC phase and continues to be like a stronghold for how we communicate with a lot of the community. And then we also have a community page. So if you go to Community Equinix, you see our community there and can do and ask questions. And so that's something that continues to be a good source. And we also have the usual Teams and email. So but easiest is if Slack's around, use a channel.
Nice and easy. All right, we are getting very close to the end of time here, and I know we wanted to keep this webinar short and punchy, and boy, I think you guys have knocked that out of the park because there's a ton of information that we've covered in a short period of time. I can see the questions are still rolling in, so I do want to let everyone know that if you're asking questions as we start to wrap up here, we are going to make sure that all of the questions get sent to the Equinix team, so you will get answers back. So keep those questions coming in, and this is just the start of that conversation. Also, if you have not already clicked on the link, if you haven't opened up that survey and gone over there and filled that out, again, the first 30 people are getting that awesome gift giveaway. If you want that tumbler, I want that tumbler. That's a cool tumbler. So click on the survey link, go fill that out, get your free tumbler, and give some feedback to Equinix, as well as starting that conversation, getting that rolling. Dan and Masood, before I let you guys go, though, I'd love to sort of wrap up with kind of a final thought and takeaway. So if you had something that you wanted everyone in the audience to walk away from this conversation thinking about or taking action on, what would that be? And Dan, maybe I'm going to start with you, and then Masood, I'll ask you to bring us home.
Well, I mean, we do offer a lot of flexibility to our solution providers on the technical side. There's a lot of tools available for you to start, building your own solution on Equinix Metal. And you have a personal support from me and from my team within Equinix. You're always going to be supported during your building, and I'm going to walk you through everything that we have to be able to help you build your solution. And once you have it, you're going to be exposed to a lot of other resources that we have in terms of marketing that we can build around your solution that's running on Equinix Metal. So that's a big deal because it's personalized and it's rich in terms of tools, and it's really rewarding for you as a solution provider. Even if you're at a startup stage, you have the chance to come and join us, and we'll give you some credit to get started. You build as you go, and if you need more credits, we'll add more credits to your account until we see your solution built and finalized. I think this is something that is dedicated to you, and it's going to be a much kind of a customized hand-in-hand process if you join us. Join us, apply, and we'll go from there. I'd like to see you apply, and we want to really help you build your solution on Equinix Metal.
I think that customization is really key, and I love the way Masood said when he showed us the slide a little earlier of all the partners, and hey, we want to see you up on this slide as well. So I think clearly it's a place where you guys are very hands-on, you're very available, very supportive, and getting that information and then customizing as needed. And I think that's really key in a world that's changing very quickly, right? And everybody's needs are a little bit different. So I love that, Dan. I think that's a great final point from you. Masood, I'm going to ask you to give us a final thought, and then if you also have any calls to action other than filling out the survey that you'd like to hit on as well.
Thanks, Jess. Beyond just the survey, I really do apply, and going dots is that we're here to help you and want something that maybe you've never thought of before, using a whole global network next to providers and having a low latency network. And I think once you start diving into it, see they're possible than you've ever imagined to do so, because the technology is very rare. So apply to the program. We're really looking forward to having you, and thank you for having us.
Well, thank you so much, Masood. That's a great place to end it. And to both of you, I want to say thanks for joining us, and I hope we get to chat again soon.
Thank you.
All right. And to everyone out there that's asking a question, keep those questions coming in. We want to hear from you. We want to get those questions over to Equinix. So again, I know we answered as many as we could, and we're going to get follow-ups via email. If you are looking to if you're looking to learn a little bit more, not earn a little bit more, although, hey, that too. If you're looking to learn a little bit more right away, make sure you visit that handouts tab, click around, explore, and definitely click on that survey if you haven't already. Again, first 30 people are getting that tumbler. You got to love that. But it's also just a great way to kickstart that conversation with Equinix. So, I think my key takeaway from Dan and Masood here today is really that emphasis on collaboration and connection and being able to work alongside you. And that's so important. I think you can feel really confident in the fact that it's going to be a conversation. So I hope that all of you are interested in joining in that and kicking that off. And that survey is a great way to do that. You can also, again, post any of those questions in the questions tab, and that's a great way to continue as well. To everyone that sent in the high fives and thank yous, I see you, Paul and Thomas. Thank you for that as well. We always love seeing those good vibes and knowing that you're connecting with the information that we've got rolling around here today. There was definitely a lot. Speaking of excitement, before we head out, there is one more little piece of fun that we have to get to, and that is, of course, our $250 Amazon gift card. So today, that is going to someone here live present at the webinar, and that lucky special someone is Rick Monier from Pennsylvania. Rick Monier from Pennsylvania. Congratulations to you, Rick. Now, as always, we will be in touch about claiming your prize after we wrap up the webinar. Well, with that, on behalf of the Actual Tech Media team, I want to once again thank Equinix for making this webinar possible, especially to our speakers here with us today, Dan and Masood. You've given us so much to think about today. Our brains are absolutely buzzing, lit up, and ready to continue on about this lovely day. So I want to thank you for taking the time to kind of walk walk us through that conversation. You hit on a lot of great points, a lot of things that are very thought-provoking, but also some really important action steps. And I think that's a great place to find that balance of, hey, we're thinking big, but we also need to make things happen. So I hope that you guys are all feeling ready to take some action and put some time and thought into continuing this conversation with Equinix. And of course, that brings me to all of you out there, and my biggest thank you, my biggest high five, the shiniest of gold stars that I have is going to all of you out there for taking time out of your day to come and be a part of our discussion today, for asking some great questions, for clicking on the handouts, for all the other ways that you let us know that you're here and interacting. We really appreciate that. And it means a lot to us that you are here with us. I know days are busy, and we appreciate you coming and spending this time learning a little bit more, because that is the best thing we can do for ourselves, right? Is arm ourselves with information and stay curious. So thank you for engaging with your curiosity today and joining in our chat. I hope that I'll get to see all of you at a webinar again soon. And until then, have an absolutely beautiful end to your day. Thanks all.